This is what happened in Parliament today. And we're anticipating a press statement also from the government. If that's ready, we'll get it for you. But we're anticipating the press statement. So this is Ken Ofori-Atta, the Honorable Minister of Finance, who delivered the budget statement yesterday. The high point of the budget statement was about the abolition of toll booth tax, if you like. He made that announcement in the budget. You know that the budget is a bill, if you like, it's an appropriation bill. So the finance minister presents the bill to Parliament. Parliament will debate it, they will pass it. If they pass all the aspects of it, then it becomes an act with which the Ministry of Finance can spend and can also raise taxes. So he conducted his duty in a sterling way yesterday in Parliament, as he usually does, and he ended his story. And then came the Minister for Roads, the Honorable Adom-Otchere, Member of Parliament for Etiwa. Now, he's the Minister of Roads. He issued a statement yesterday, soon after the budget was presented. And Mr. Adom-Otchere said that with immediate effect, all the people at the road toll collecting their tolls should stop their work. They will be reassigned. Road tolls are not going to be part of Ghana's conversation, at least not in the immediate future, pursuant to the budget that was read yesterday. So what happened this morning? This morning, people went to this is the Kaswa one, I think, is it Adom-Otchere, one of them. People went to the toll area and it was empty. You didn't have anybody in there. And so they drove quickly and went to work, and people were quite excited about that. Because they could go to work very quickly. So we heard that those who drove were very happy. But those who plied their trade, if I can call it that, around the toll booth area, you know, when you arrive there, the Bow Fruits comes, the Adom-Otchere comes, Adom-Otchere and yogurts, they all come to you at the toll booth. They are very unhappy. They are wondering why Ken Ofori-Atta has taken their daily bread from them. Because when people gather at the road toll, they are late going to work, they are listening to radio. That's when they buy their Bow Fruits, the farm milk, Adom-Otchere, Adom-Otchere, Coca-Cola, whatever, you know. So both morning and evening. So they have some little economy there, morning and evening. They are not happy. The majority of drivers are very excited. But this infuriated Alban Sumano Kingsford Bagbin, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament. And when he took the chair today, he was very upset. His concern is that how does the road minister begin the implementation of a proposal in a budget which has not been passed by Parliament? That was his firm argument. He didn't understand why the Honourable Adom-Otchere would do that. So he actually called for a reversal. Can you imagine that? The Speaker said that should be reversed. Tomorrow morning they should go back and collect the money. Speaker is a legislative arm of government, there's an executive arm of government, there's a judicial arm of government. Okay, so we have been discussing this matter. Who is right and who is wrong? Chairman Sabonsu presented a very scholarly analysis of the matter. Now, his concern was that Mr. Speaker is not a member of Parliament. He certainly is not. He's the umpire of Parliament. He's not a member of Parliament. He's not been elected by the people of Ghana. He is not a member of Parliament. He's the umpire. So Chairman Sabonsu's concern was that the Speaker is only able to carry the decisions of Parliament to the other arms of government. He can carry a decision of Parliament to the judiciary. He can carry a decision of Parliament to the executive and to the general public. But he cannot carry his own personal directives in his capacity as Speaker. He cannot do that. He's not part of the government. The Parliament is part of the government, the legislative arm. When they pass a resolution or they pass anything by a majority, the Speaker can carry that out. Chairman Sabonsu was concerned that the Speaker is grabbing territorial authority that he doesn't have, that he cannot as a Speaker do that. Okay, so we had the argument, people applauded Chairman Sabonsu, but let's go into the law and try and understand this. And when we finish, I'll play you a tape by J.H. Mensah in the question of Parliament's authority and all that. Okay, so here is the law. Article 174 of the 1992 Constitution is in chapter 30. It is entitled Finance. It says as follows: no taxation shall be imposed otherwise done by or under the authority of an act of Parliament. So that is clear. You cannot impose a tax without the authority of Parliament. The toll booth is a tax. So the toll booth must have been imposed on Ghanaians with the authority of Parliament as an act of Parliament. That's the only way you can impose taxes under Article 174 of the 1992 Constitution, 1741. It doesn't end there, by the way. Let's move on. 1742 says, where an act enacted in accordance with clause 1 of this article confers power on any person or authority to waive or vary a tax imposed by that act, the exercise of the power of the waiver or variation in favor of any person or authority shall be subject to the prior approval of Parliament. So we put our own small interpretation to this matter and our analogy to it. We are not the Supreme Court, which has the power to interpret the laws and interpret the acts of Parliament in Ghana. We certainly are not. But we can hazard our own interpretation into this. So let's get back into 2 again. We know that 1 says that imposition of taxes. 2 says, where an act enacted in accordance with clause 1 of this article confers power or any person or authority to waive. So where a law has been passed, say some free zones tax or taxes on importation of cars or something like that, and then in the act it says that the power to waive these taxes for an individual, maybe a company, a person or authority or company, or you want to waive it for the military, the police, all of that, where a tax is certified by an act of Parliament. But in the Tax Act, it says that the Minister of Finance is able to do a waiver, or the Minister of Trade is able to do a waiver, or the Minister for Interior is able to do a waiver for the police. Where that is in the tax, that person cannot exercise that variation except with the authority of Parliament. So where's the question here? The question here is the tax that was imposed by Ghanaians at the toll booth, right? Did it contain in its act a waiver by a minister of sorts for any person or authority? We checked, the answer is no. Okay. The waiver that has now been occasioned by the Minister of Roads directive, is it in favor of any person or any authority? Again, the answer is no. Therefore, the removal of road tolls, question is, should you go to Parliament before you remove it? You should certainly go to Parliament before you impose any tax. Question here is, given what clause 2 is telling us, which is the other side of the tax. Clause 1 is imposing, clause 2 is variation. And this can pass for a variation. That variation, clause 2 says, where it is being done for a person or an authority, and where the variation itself has been conceptualized in the act, and the authority to vary is given to a minister. That minister, when he wants to exercise that variation given in the act, he needs to come back to Parliament. So the jury is out on that. The question is over there. Tell us what you think. Our humble view is that for Mr. Adom-Otchere, the Minister of Roads, to sort of remove the taxes and all of that, remove the road tolls, he really didn't need to come back to Parliament. It doesn't appear so, but Parliament can decide it. All of us can think what we think. Tell me what you think. You can send a text message. But this then reminds us of the situation of Parliament's authority and the executive authority, and we couldn't help it, but we had to go into our archives and pull out something J.H. Mensah said about the authority of Parliament. This is way back in 1997. Here is J.H. Mensah emphasizing, as far as he's concerned, the authority of Parliament. Hear him.
And I'm making this point quite seriously because it is our wish on this side of the House that the authority and dignity of Parliament should be affirmed and reaffirmed on every possible occasion as one of the bulwarks of our freedom.